Teleconference. The Bulldogs were 18-15 last year with a 7-11 mark in league play. Ask a question of Coach Crean. Press *1 now. Coach, while we wait on questions, could you give us some brief comments on your team looking ahead at next year?
Sure. I've enjoyed it. We're a little over 3 months in the sense of getting things established with our program, and it's been a whirlwind is an understatement, but it's been a fantastic time. You learn a lot about your team. You learn a lot about the school. You get a lot of energy from that. I do personally, and all the things that go into it in the sense of recruiting and having people on campus, the workouts, the meeting people on campus, and the bottom line is we got some really, really good young people on this team, people that I enjoy being around on a daily basis. The foundation of them is very strong, and we just want to keep improving. And we're in the 4th week of an 8-week program here in the summer, and all the different things that go into that. And it's been great. So we're looking forward to the future.
Okay, our first question is from Chip Howard of KZNE Radio and College Station.
Tom, what were your first priorities when you first got on campus, and how far along are you right now?
Most important by far was starting to get to know the players. The first day that we were here, that I got the job on the 16th, or introduced on the 16th, and then the players were gone on spring break. So we came back and got started with them on the 19th. Our first team meeting was at 2:45 in the afternoon, and we were on the court by 3:45. And the symbolism of that is that the most important thing that can happen is establishing the relationships, putting the foundation and standards of how we want to run the program together with them, and moving accordingly and moving rapidly. And then everything else with that, I mean, getting to know the campus community, the recruiting obviously is paramount and huge, and it's ongoing, and that's exactly what you want. Getting a chance as we move forward to establish relationships with people that are going to impact the program, whether it be in-house, whether it be as part of the administration, and then certainly with fans. And I think just getting an energy, getting people to feel an energy around us that we feel by being here. And in a nutshell, that it needs to be played out with your players. It needs to be played out with the recruits. It needs to be played out with your fan base. But you also want to establish how you want things to be. And I think it goes hand in hand, and it's been enjoyable.
Thank you.
Sure.
Our next question is from Jerry Tipton of the Lexington Herald-Leader.
Tom, I'm wondering how much you can learn about your players. They're new to you. You're new to them. How much can you all learn about each other before the actual games themselves?
Oh, Jerry, tons. And it's the workouts. And I made this comment to some of the staff the other day. Just being in the weight workouts, being at the conditioning and the strength and speed training, you almost learn more about them there than you even do on the court. You know, and it all goes hand in hand. So it's a constant process. It's not just the court. It's not just the training. It's the conversations that they have in the office. There's a ton of it. And I think the most important thing to try to do in the summer, because you don't have that game experience of being together and we're not going on a foreign trip, you've got to try to create as many adverse situations for your team inside of that training, inside of the workouts and all that type of stuff. You know, you're educating them on what you want to do. You make no assumptions. You make no judgments. You just evaluate constantly, but at the same time, you're putting things in place. So I've really enjoyed it, and they have been excellent in getting to know them, and now they're integrating with the freshmen that we have. So we're kind of all learning each other together.
And just as a follow, it's probably obvious, but you say put in as many adverse situations as you can. What do you hope to reap from that?
Learning about them. I mean, when you have game experience and you have season experience, you start to learn how they tick under pressure. You start to see what they can do to execute, what triggers stress, those type of things. And it can come in the sense of how you train. You know, whether it's a sand pit workout, whether it's outside at the outdoor football field, whether it's in the weight room, how do they concentrate and focus under pressure? Trying to create as many situational things as we can inside of the workouts along with the fundamentals. So it's numerous things, and it's just a matter of working really hard to create it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, next up is Andrew Romstocker of the State newspaper in South Carolina.
Hey, Tom, just curious, when you're coming to a new area, and you talked about building relationships need to help your program, how has the in-state recruiting part been for you to this point and establishing those relationships? Do you feel like you make up for lost time? What's that been like, and how important is that for your program to recruit the state of Georgia?
Oh, I think it's huge, and that goes without saying. And the bottom line is establishing relationships. I already had a great respect for this state. We'd already spent time in this state recruiting, but it's nothing like living in this state. And certainly there were some guys that made decisions in the spring that we really didn't, we really weren't here to recruit them before. We really didn't have that opportunity to build those relationships before. And now, when you take over a program and you're new like this, it's very important that you have people that have been around it. And that's the hiring of Chad Dollar and the hiring of Amir Abdul-Rahim. They're national-level coaches, national-level recruiters, but they're from Georgia and have a strong knowledge base and relationship base of this state, of this area. So getting inside and getting established with that, making sure when you take over a program that you don't ignore any of the classes, that you don't ignore any of the programs as much as you can, and there's no way you're going to touch them all. There's no way at all. But you want to be accessible to them. You want to be visible to them. You want them to feel welcome on your campus and at your workouts. And we've had a lot of that in June. The players, we had some visits in May. We had some visits in April. But it's been so much more the last 3+ weeks because we're back working. We're back in the sense of, working with the players. We're doing our thing, and they're getting a chance to see us. Like I say every day, we don't have Georgia film to show. We don't have a couple years' experience here to show what we're going to do. We've got to show what we've done in the past, and at the same time, we've got to show them how we're building for the present right now with the current players. And that getting the classes, all the different classes, whether you're a freshman, whether you're a sophomore, whether you're a junior, a rising senior, getting them comfortable and around us is really, really important.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much for your time this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.